Welcome into the first episode of the Fantasy Football Tactics Podcast. I am Patrick, here with Joey and Bobito.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, buddy. So this is the first episode of the Fantasy Football Tactics Podcast in 2020. We are re-emerging, and we brought in another guy. His name is Bobby.
¿Qué pasa, Sere?
Odale. So what we're going to do is today we're going to do the AFC and NFC East fantasy implications for those players that are on those teams and who we like, who we don't like, who we're skipping on and such. But to start off the show, we have some news that came out today. So we're going to roll with that. All right. So the first piece of news is Jeremy Hill released from the Raiders. Yes, everybody. He just signed with them approximately 2 to 3 days ago. And now he is jobless. I hope he has some guaranteed money. Now, yeah, it was great. I mean, he got a quit check, you know.
I'm down for
But
the stimulus check.
Stimulus. The next thing is Marquise Hollywood Brown puts on 23 pounds. He said he finished the season at 157 pounds. He is now up to $180. Now, this guy's really fast. So, I mean, but when wide receivers put on weight, I kind of like it because it shows a little bit of more toughness, and he was kind of a small guy anyway. So him putting on that weight is going to look pretty nice. What do you guys think?
I mean, for sure, he can go for the ball a lot more. If he gets double covered, more than likely to come down with the ball if they're smaller defenders. So I do like that a lot.
I mean, not even counting, putting on 23 pounds is going to help you truck your way through more people, when you catch the ball and trying to score those touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to build up his toughness because he's a little frail, So he's a smaller guy, so I think this just puts in a little more toughness to him. The big piece of news that I saw today was that Bruce Arians came out and said that Ronald Jones will be the main guy after the Bucs signed LeSean McCoy. Now, I don't know what to think about this because Bruce Arians has a history of loving the veterans. And, I mean, Ronald Jones is a veteran, but this guy can't block. So what, Tom Brady gets knocked on his butt twice, and what happens then? Is it just shady time, or is it Ronald Jones is going to stay in there and still be that guy getting the work? I mean,
I feel like they're going to use LeSean McCoy for more of that goal line play rather than trying to get the ball down the field, because I feel like LeSean McCoy is kind of a big guy that can punch through the goal line when he needs to, pick up those points where it's needed.
Yeah, for sure. He's a lot bigger. He's bigger than Ronald Jones. I mean, but I think it's going to be split backfield, to be honest with you. And I think what he means by main guy is Ronald Jones has a couple more snaps than LeSean McCoy. Because, I mean, Ronald Jones, from what I've seen, I don't care for his talent. But LeSean McCoy showed that I don't think he's really got much left in the tank. I mean, they signed LeSean McCoy for $1 million, so they can cut him for virtually nothing if they want to.
I'm also interested to see how Shady's going to actually take being a number 2 back, because he's always been number 1 throughout his entire career. So for him to actually have this kind of split time with a guy who may not actually be the main guy, just by Bruce Arians thought he may be. So I'm just curious to see what his thought might be on that.
What sucks is we're not going to see preseason football, so we don't really get to gauge and see if Shady's back, see if he's running good, see if he looks healthy, all that jazz. But we'll go to the next piece, which is Kenny Golladay is activated, was on the COVID list. So he is no longer on the COVID list. That means their star wide receiver is coming back, and he's good to go.
Whoop, whoop.
I mean, that's good news, because
that's great news.
That's someone definitely everyone's gonna want to pick up when fantasy season starts.
Yeah, with draft season, I mean, it's huge because that kind of was bumping up Marvin Jones a little bit. But I mean, with the COVID list, you kind of got to play it by ear. I mean, we're still a month out from season, so roughly, I think what they're doing is 2 weeks on the if you have COVID, it's about 2 weeks, and then you just kind of go from there. The next piece of news we have is Albert Wilson opts out. All right, so that bumps up Preston Williams, who just came back from his ACL tear and got cleared for all football activities. So that bumps him up into that spot. Albert Wilson's not playing, thus Preston Williams comes in and becomes the wide receiver number 2 right next to Devontae Parker, which we'll dive more into that when we're doing the breakdown for the Dolphins. You got anything to say, Bobby, with the Albert Wilson news?
No, just I'm interested to see what's going to go on with, Gesicki. It's a little teaser about what's going to happen later on in the episode. So, I'm just curious about that. But I think we should move on from there, boys.
Let's go ahead and get it. We're going to jump into the AFC East first. We're going to go New York Jets off the top. Now, for the New York Jets, there's not much I like here other than maybe Le'Veon Bell. And that's because Le'Veon Bell is, I feel like you're getting good value for him in the draft right now.
Yeah. He's always been a workhorse. He's always been productive out of the backfield, whether it's carrying, whether it's catching the ball. So I think he's a great asset to any team, and he's pretty much the entire team for offense. So it's going to be interesting this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Sam Darnold, you'll be able to stream him here and there. But the thing about Sam Darnold is that Sam Darnold missed a bunch of time, right? So you have Le'Veon Bell running with virtually a second-team quarterback who's not playing very good football at that time. And, I mean, so with Le'Veon Bell getting the real quarterback for that team, I feel like he'll be pretty good. Right now he's going 3rd round, pick 6, which I like that because you're getting a guy who comes in and he's going to catch at least 65 balls. He caught 65 balls last year on roughly 80 targets. And then, his yardage last year took a dip. I think he was right around 750. But you're going to see those numbers jump up. I mean, he's going to have he realistically is going to have a better team.
It's nothing but upside, honestly. Thank God the quarterback, Sam Darnold, is back in town. He did what he had to do. He's back from whatever he had going on. And
yeah, the mono.
Yeah, no, that's a totally different discussion. But Le'Veon Bell is there. Now they have Frank Gore as well. So if he actually needs help in the backfield as well, he has that veteran presence back there to help him out if he needs it.
I think Frank Gore's going to go and he's going to vulture some touchdowns from Le'Veon Bell. I mean, that's just what I think is going to happen. But I feel like he was more of a depth piece there in case Le'Veon Bell gets hurt, because after Le'Veon Bell, they didn't have anything running back wise. But I mean, Le'Veon Bell had 245 rushes last year. He's pretty much a career like 290, 280 guy. And I mean, he had 66 catches last year for 460 yards and a score. His touchdown numbers were super low. His yards per carry, super low. I mean, right now he can only do better, to be honest with you. And it's something that I'm gonna like to see. I would like to see those touchdown numbers, jump up to, 7-8 back to his norm. So.
I mean, right now, they only project him to have 5 touchdowns right now, which is pretty low. So hopefully, like you said, that does jump up throughout the year.
I think it will.
It's going to have to jump up. I mean, they wouldn't have picked him up if they weren't going to use him for something. You know what I mean?
Adam Gase is kind of a weird guy.
Is it Gase or is it Gas?
It's it's for sure Gase.
It's Gase, all right.
Oh my God, dude.
But
between McAfee and Gase, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you two.
It's McAfee.
It's McAfee. I finally got him to say it right.
Oh my God, dude. Anyway, now I feel like Frank Gore is gonna be like that Le'Veon type player to help the Jets more on the goal line than anything. I think they're gonna use Le'Veon Bell to kind of get down the field, and then they're gonna bring in Frank Gore to punch it into the touchdown.
For sure, and I mean, I think it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, it's definitely going to be, a sight to see this year, especially with how different the league's going to be because of this, the world pandemic and everything.
To talk about our rankings, we currently have Le'Veon Bell sitting at number 15 behind Chris Carson, Miles Sanders, and then he's sandwiched with Austin Eckler and James Conner. So I'm pretty high on Le'Veon Bell. If you're being able to grab this guy who's going to get 300 plus touches in the third, fourth round, I mean you're virtually stealing it. I mean, even if he's what he did last year, which was mediocre for him, you're still getting a good running back. You're still getting a guy with good upside that can get you a lot of points and be your flex option. Another guy is Jamison Crowder. The only guy worth anything over there catching the ball for the Jets, in my opinion, maybe Chris Herndon. But other than that, there's not much. Sam Darnold's going to have some stats, but I don't project Sam Darnold to be very good stat-wise this year. I don't see how that's possible for him to be that good because he has Le'Veon Bell and then Jamison Crowder, and that's his players. Chris Herndon.
He's on the target, Jamison Crowder, a lot more. He only got 78 receptions last year, which is not that good whatsoever. Again, they did have a second-string quarterback in there for the majority of the parts last year, but they really need to step up him actually doing something for the team.
All right, so what we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, buddy. So the Miami Dolphins, they're one of those teams that are projected to go from first to worst. And I agree 100%.
I mean, I will say this. They already came out and said that Fitzpatrick, they came out before and said Fitzpatrick was going to be their starter. But now we're hearing that it's most likely going to be performance-based, correct?
It's a competition right now between the three, Rosen and Fitzpatrick and Tua.
No offense. And excuse me for saying this. I don't think Rosen has a chance in this race. I think it's going to be between Fitzpatrick and Tua, because of the fact of what Fitzpatrick did last year. He didn't do great, but he did. It's something that I haven't seen from him in a while. He was running the ball. He was actually making plays. Wasn't afraid to get hit. Other things like that. And I think he's gonna have a hard time competing against Tua.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I want fantasy-wise for the Dolphins is I want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick out there for a good chunk of the season because I already know what I'm getting with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know that I'm getting a good Devontae Parker. I know I'm getting a good Preston Williams, and I know for a fact I'm getting a good Mike Gesicki.
Exactly. My thing is I feel like Tua needs to observe for a season.
Agreed.
I think he needs to observe how the Dolphins play their offense. Who the big guys to throw to, who does better, running the ball. I think he needs to take all of that and the leadership that he can learn from Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think he needs to learn that and then come back next season and lead that team.
I agree, but I think if he's ready, he's ready. You know what I mean?
Oh well,
I think if he
of course, but that's just my thing with rookie QBs. I feel like they need give them some time to get familiar with the team.
I agree.
Like last year, how the Dolphins brought in Josh Rosen and just kind of threw him out there and just let him pretty much either swim or
sink or swim. Yeah, sink or swim pretty much. Exactly.
That's not what they should do with Tua because he is a very good prospect and they need to give some time to develop and learn behind Fitzpatrick. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, because I agree. They've already seen what Fitzpatrick's done last year. And it's just like, hey, do what you did last year, try to be a little bit better, but at the same time, teach this new kid we have the way of the NFL, the way to run the team, the way that we play our offense, other things like that.
Agreed. So with that segment, we're going to jump into Ryan Fitzpatrick. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm not drafting him. You might get 2 weeks out of him.
He's a 27.
I mean, he's not the guy that you're going to want to use on a regular basis. Now, there's a few good options for fantasy football for the Dolphins this year.
Surprisingly.
Not surprisingly. You have Devontae Parker, right? Last year, 1,200 yards, 9 scores. He's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
He's going to be so good. And I like him because I know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is, and I know what I'm getting out of it.
I think he's going to be their main person that they're going to be throwing to this year.
Oh, for sure. He's going to be there. You're going to have Preston Williams just came back. Hopefully he's really healthy. You're also getting Devontae Parker in the 7th round at the 3rd pick. You're getting a guy with 1,209. I mean, you can't beat that if that's what you get exactly, if not more. Preston Williams is coming in. He was stunning out for a little while too, and he was playing great. He's virtually free. And then I also like Jordan Howard. We got Jordan Howard and Matt Breida, the running back tandem there. Jordan Howard had a pretty good year in Philly last year, and then he got injured. But he's coming to a Miami Dolphins team who has a rebuilt offensive line. You have solid wide receiver core, and Jordan Howard's going to come out, and he's a guy that I love to take, especially since he's late, and he's virtually the last starting running back off the board. And for Jordan Howard, I mean, this guy has never had less than 1,000-yard season. The Miami Dolphins are in the defensive side of their franchise. They put a lot of money into their defense, and their defense is going to win them some games this year. But that also equates to Jordan Howard winning them games at the same time. But with that being said, I mean, Jordan Howard, you have the tandem of Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. Matt Breida is going to be able to catch the ball a little bit, even though that's not his forte. And he's going to be that good change of pace back for them. And then we have the GOAT, the future GOAT, Mike Gesicki.
Pat, I feel like you're in love with this guy a little bit too much.
I do. I love him. And I love taking him in drafts.
Because I know we talked about him. I know we talked about him last year. And I don't think his stats were that great last year, but
he shined. He broke out. He came up, stepped up to the plate. Tight ends are historically have a rough time breaking out, and Mike Gesicki had his mini breakout this year. I'm projecting him to have a good breakout this year.
Yeah,
I mean, season long one.
I mean, yeah, he had about 5 TDs last year, so definitely we want to see those numbers go up from last year to this year. I definitely want to see the Dolphins utilize him a little bit more so he can kind of show us, what he's all about.
He learned the playbook, and now he broke out a little bit last year, and now I'm projecting the real breakout. I think him and Ryan Fitzpatrick made a connection, and now it's just all up from here. The only issue I have with Gesicki and Preston Williams is the fact that when Preston Williams went down, that is when Mike Gesicki shined, being the number 2 option over there. But I do see that they have a connection, and I think that connection is going to develop more. And that's what I got from Mike Gesicki.
Well,
He's
that's assuming
prove you wrong, Bobby.
Well, that's also assuming that they keep Fitzpatrick on the field all season.
But I think that Tua will translate to Gesicki as well.
Oh, no, 100%. I still feel like if Tua goes out there, he's going to obviously know, who his guys are to throw to and everything else.
Agreed. All right, so next on the list, what do we got here? We got the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, everybody knows they traded for Stephon Diggs. I think they gave away way too much for that, but that's neither here nor there. Their big guy is Stephon Diggs, and I mean, I don't know what Stephon Diggs is going to do. He's never really had over 80 catches in a season. I believe, yeah, never had over 80. He's the last 2 years is when he's finally broke 1,000. He's that guy that's almost in a sense a boom or bust player every week. When he booms, he booms big, and he'll win you a week. But when he busts bad. I mean, it's. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. He's had over 80 catches twice, 2018 and 2016. But it's not too bad. But to be the number 1 wide receiver on this team that's going to be trying to throw the deep ball and play really good defense and run the ball with Devin Singletary, I don't know where Stephon Diggs fits in.
He needs help.
I mean, they got John Brown over there too, which is going to help. But I think Stephon Diggs is a good wide receiver. He's that fast, great route runner, and I like the guy, but I just don't know if he's worth, I think he's going in the 3rd or 4th round. Let me see here.
Actually going in the 3rd, I believe.
I believe he's going in the 3rd too. Almost there. Let's find you.
Keep it up.
He's going he's going 409.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, like you look at that and he's going right around Keenan Allen before Tyler Lockett, before DJ Chark, before Odell, before Robert Woods. And that's
crazy.
not where I'm going to put my chips. I'm not going to put my chips into a Stephon Diggs on a team that wants to run the ball, play good defense, and then have an inaccurate quarterback at Josh Allen.
I mean, what would you put him at, Patrick, as far as like wide receiver rankings? Like, would you put him at like 3 or 4, wide receiver 3 or 4? Like, where you put him at?
I'd put him probably around a 4. Like a couple guys that I like that are going right around him. I would rather have DK Metcalf.
Sure.
I'd rather have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, DJ Chark, and Odell Beckham. I'd rather have all those guys than him. Like
There's a lot
right
of upside.
around. What's that?
There's a lot of upside to everybody else you're mentioning besides Stephon Diggs. That's the thing that's
That's
getting
what
me
I'm
about
saying.
him.
It's like I know what Stephon Diggs is. I've seen him. And
Yeah,
these
but you
other
also-
guys, me knowing what they are better than Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but you also got to look at their schedule too. I think they're going against a lot of teams that have great pass defense.
Dolphins are going to lock him up.
100%.
What?
Dolphins have the best secondary in the league.
Say it again.
Xavier Howard and Byron Jones.
Bobby, why do you hate the Dolphins so much?
Because Dolphins are clowns.
Oh
They've
my
been-
god!
they've been trying to
Wow.
rebuild.
Get out of here, dog.
They've been trying to rebuild ever since Dan Marino left.
Yeah. What have
Yeah,
y'all
I mean,
won?
you're not
we weren't even
wrong,
born
but-
yet. We
What
weren't
have you
even
got?
born yet.
What have the Panthers won? Ever?
They've at least been to 2 Super Bowls.
They just lost
In
their
20
boy
years.
Cam to the Patriots.
Oh,
Ah.
you've been to them? You just saw it?
Ah.
Like you just watched the game go on because
We
y'all didn't
tasted
leave
it.
with a ring.
You guys only have 2 rings. It was back in the 80s. Cars
Only
back.
have 2. How many do you have?
We've been to 2, so we could have had 2.
So you don't have any, is what I heard.
that
Okay. Next question.
sounds like a fucking.
Like a what?
All right, come on. We got to get back on pace. I got
Oh,
like
shit.
15 minutes, bro.
All right,
We're not
all
even
right,
through
so-
the AFC East.
I mean,
We might have to break another show out, bro.
Oh no.
all right. Well, let's move on to the Patriots, okay?
All right. So next on the list, we got the New England Patriots. Cam Newton comes in, and I don't really care for anything else on this team.
It's the boy.
I mean, me neither, really. I mean, the only thing that's going to be interesting is going to be Cam in this New England Patriot team, to be honest.
It's
I
gonna be
agree.
interesting to see how he's able to actually throw it and run it in their actual offense itself, because they've always done the little dink and dunk little passes. Cam can actually air this thing out, and I don't think they have the speed, honestly. The receivers have the speed in order to actually go out in the field and catch these
They got
balls that Cam's
N'Keal
going to
Harry.
throw.
N'Keal Harris, I think, could be good. I don't
One
know if
day,
he is good.
I
but
don't
he
know.
could
I
be
mean,
good.
I don't know. I can't say it for sure, but it's gonna be very interesting to see how he meshes. The good
I
thing
mean-
about them is that they have good running backs, or decent running backs, I'll say.
I mean, this is
I
going to be
think
a
Sony
very,
Michel's
very
a bust.
this is going to be a very, very different Patriots team coming into this year without, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski.
For sure. I mean, I think their running backs are mediocre. I think Sony Michel's a bust.
Yeah, I mean, where do we have Michelle and White on our rankings? Because I believe we buried them. Yeah, we have Michelle at 34.
And that's with him just getting touchdowns if he gets them.
Yeah, and then we have White at 30. And I think that's only because we feel like White's going to get more touches than Michelle.
Yeah, he's going to catch the ball. He's getting more worth. He's getting the more valuable targets. But the thing is that the only other guy I'd like on that team is probably Julian Edelman. I'll take
Yeah.
a shot at N'Keal Harry because he's free, but Julian Edelman's free too.
I mean, Mohamed Sanu might...
Mohamed Sanu is very back and forth, honestly.
He's washed.
Yeah. And then they looks like they have rookie tight ends too.
Yeah, I mean, but rookie tight ends, as we know, don't really come out the gate hot.
Unless you're Gronk, who's freaking made for that position,
Or
it's
Gasecki.
gonna be tough. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, but so with the Patriots, it's hard, man. There's nothing I really like on this team. I like Cam Newton because Cam Newton's almost like a game breaker. They have small little weapons on this team, but that's not what Cam Newton's done that his whole career.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see like what happens when, Cam Newton throws an interception or fumbles the ball or something like that. Like, how is that New England Patriot team or that staffing going to act towards him?
Agreed. I mean, but I do think Cam Newton's angry. Cam Newton signed this deal for $1 million. Nobody else in the league wanted him.
He definitely has something to prove.
He's got a big chip on his shoulder, so you might see the best. If he's healthy, you can see the best possible Cam you've ever seen in your life.
This might be better than MVP Cam Newton, honestly.
I mean, I will say this: the one positive thing that we can say about Cam Newton is the man knows how to run, and running QB is not something the Patriots have had in a really long time.
Yeah, like about 20 years.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Patriots are going to be, changing up their offense, changing up the offense to give Cam that play time to run the ball down the field if needed. Pretty much be like the running quarterback.
I agree. It's going to be very interesting.
The whole playbook has to be just washed and just reworked because
they had to redo a whole playbook. They had to have. There's no way they're running with the same playbook they ran with Tom Brady.
It's gonna be a very interesting season for the Patriots for sure.
Because I think we all know that boy can run.
That boy hungry.
All right, now since we just finished the AFC East, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the NFC East. We're gonna lead off with the Eagles, and I think Bobby is gonna take us over here.
Me? I'm a newbie at this. Okay, but if you want to start from me, if we're going to go into the Eagles, I like me some Jalen Reagor. If we're going to talk about wide receivers. He's...
pronounced Rager.
My God. Just hop off. I like Reagor.
Say my name right.
Reagor has a better tone to it. I don't know about this Rager stuff, but Reagor, that's a man you trust. Am I right? Anyway, he's a good rookie wide receiver. He had 22 TDs in college, along with 2,248 yards. I mean, dude was a stud in college. The also thing I like about him is that he has some veteran presence behind him. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, who have actually helped him become a more dynamic wide receiver, and I think he's going to put up some monster numbers this year.
I mean, how are they going to help him if they're not in the stadium because they're both always hurt?
Doesn't matter about that. They're there with him in just a presence. You know what I'm saying? Training camp. They'll be there. I know there's no training camp. I understand that, but like later down the line, they'll be there for him.
I get you. I like Jalen Reagor a lot, and that's purely based off of that he is going to be one of the only weapons over there. He's the only receiver over there, other than Deshaun Jackson. And Deshaun Jackson was having issues with this whole him in trouble thing from an Instagram post. So I mean, Jalen Reagor, he's going to be good. He's one of the only rookies that get an immediate start. So for you dynasty guys, I mean, you drafted him this year, and he's a guy that you're going to be able to play this year, which doesn't happen very often with wide receivers. But I mean, we could segue into like a Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert conversation now. I mean, there's nothing else to say about wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Reagor is definitely going to have his chance this year to shine, especially since they don't really have anyone to throw to on that team. But with going into tight ends is going to be a little bit interesting because I know they have a split tight end playbook over there.
Yeah, supposedly, from the research I was able to do, he's projected to be the same as he was last year as terms as his overall stats. So his projection this year, he's going to get about 6 touchdowns, about 872 yards, and he's going to get about 82 receptions for the entire year, as well as he had last year.
You think it's going to be the exact same thing with, no Alshon Jeffrey for a little bit, Deshaun Jackson, don't know. Like, you don't think that Zach Ertz is going to try and lean on, or Carson Wentz is going to lean on Zach Ertz quite a bit and early?
I hope he does.
I mean, I feel like he will. I definitely feel like he's going to be leaning on Zach Ertz, but he's also going to be leaning on Dallas Goedert as well. Or, I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing his name.
No,
Goedert.
You said it right. You said it right the first time.
Claps.
I'm tired of hearing Goedert.
Claps.
What is Goedert?
Goddard, sorry. I definitely think it's gonna be split because I mean, if you look at their stats, definitely Zach Ertz does have more touchdowns and I believe a little bit more yards than Goddard, but it's not much. I mean, Goddard had 607 yards last year, and then Zach Ertz had 916.
That's a good gap. That's a big gap.
I definitely feel like, and excuse me for saying this, but I definitely feel like Zach Ertz might be regressing a little bit, like going downhill.
No, we all know.
So I think that at a point, maybe Goddard comes in and does a little bit more than Ertz this year.
I can see that with the two tight end sets. I mean, Goddard has a step on Zach Ertz, in my opinion. He's a more athletic guy, you know.
He's younger. He's younger, way
say,
younger.
he's
Less wear and tear on his body, but I feel like Goddard has more of a red zone, end zone kind of feel to him, to where he's going to be this guy that's going to catch touchdowns for you, and he's going, way later than Zach Ertz is. If you're trying to make that decision, I do think Zach Ertz is going to be the better wide or the better tight end that you're going to want on a weekly basis. But Goddard's actually going to go into and get touchdowns. He's going to produce. So, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do. In my book, I don't want to pay for Zach Ertz because I don't think he's worth what he's costing.
Yeah, it looks here. I mean, his ADP he is the fourth consensus tight end. So I think for
you're talking about
number
Ertz,
four,
right?
Ertz.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, for that, I feel like there's so many other tight ends out there that'll give you more bang for your buck compared to Ertz is right now. He's a great tight end, but just taking him like the fourth best tight end, it's tough sometimes.
Not even. ADP has Zach Ertz going with the 36th pick, which is the third round, 10th pick, tied up with like Devin Singletary, Allen Robinson, and James Conner. I do not like that. I'm not paying a third round pick for Zach Ertz when I can get Allen Robinson, I can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I can get Calvin Ridley, T.Y. Hilton, Cortland Sutton, or James Conner. And I mean, you have Mark Andrews going at 41, 5 picks behind Zach Ertz. I mean, I think that's too much anyway for that guy anyway. I'd rather go and get like a Darren Waller in the middle of the 5th, if anything.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that kind of takes up tight ends. But we'll jump over to the running back, and there's only one. His name's Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And this man is gonna ball. I mean, he broke out last year, had 800 yards,
and
caught
that
the ball
was
about 50 times.
And that was with splitting his time with Howard as well.
Yeah, in the first half of the season, he was getting a lot of split time with Howard, and that was also some of that was out without Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's got legs. He's going to come out and he's going to play. The Doug Marrone was coming out and saying, we don't want to limit Miles Sanders to any kind of carry count or touch count, not carry count, touch count. So receiving and rushing. I mean, I like that. He can come out and leave a game with 30 touches. I mean, he has got top 5 potential there.
I mean, not only that, I definitely think that he's been training to be that workhorse that the Eagles are going to need and rely on this year.
I agree. I mean, it's a little weird that they don't really do a workhorse kind of running back style over there. They've always had like a little bit of a committee, but I don't see Corey Clement coming in and taking anything. The only other guy there really is Byron Scott, and he's going to be, if anything, a third down back that's going to catch the ball, but I don't see them going to him very often.
They don't really have many other people to go to at the moment other than...
He's their only rusher.
Yeah.
He's their only rusher.
Rushing guy. Corey Clement, sorry, not good. I mean, what else are we going to do here? The only thing is that, I mean, his yardage was there, 818 yards on about $180, attempts. but I mean, he totaled 6 touchdowns between receiving and rushing. So hopefully his rushing numbers go up, and you'll see a little bit of a climb for his rushing touchdown total. I mean, he caught the ball 50 times on 63 targets for 509 yards with 3 scores. I like that.
That's decent. Yeah,
I like that a lot. 50 catches from the back.
That's
I mean,
really good.
nice.
I mean, like you said, you want to see those numbers go up. I think that's about the only thing we can really hope for.
I mean, I think he will. He'll have a full-time role this time. So, I mean, you see 180 rushing attempts. I'm going to see probably about 220 coming in. So another
Exactly,
40
yeah.
attempts, you know.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else for the Eagles? I think that's it.
I think
Eagles
that's
don't really
it.
have much to work
Wentz,
with.
Carson Wentz, yeah.
Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. I mean,
Skeptical.
with all of his injuries and stuff that he's had over the past years, it's
I mean, yeah, he wasn't he taken out last year or during the playoffs last year because of a concussion. I know that he said he's bulked up since last year to prevent him getting another concussion, but depending on what happens with, if he actually has people to throw to, or if he's going to be handing the ball off more.
I see him having to hand the ball off more because they don't have the weapons there. Now, we'll go completely healthy here. Carson Wentz is completely healthy, and Alshon Jeffrey is completely healthy, hypothetically. When Alshon Jeffrey's on the field, Carson Wentz is amazing. And guess what? So is Alshon Jeffrey.
Well, yeah, because they can link up great, and they work really well together.
I agree. But right now, Carson Wentz does not have Alshon Jeffrey. We don't know how long.
No offense, I don't think Carson Wentz really has anybody.
He
to throw
doesn't.
to.
Besides, he has Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, and then this new kid on the block named Jalen Rager.
Yeah, I mean, that's really
Sanders.
it.
So we'll have to see. I mean, it's hard to pay for, what's Carson Wentz's ADP? He's going 8th round, which isn't terrible, because you get a guy who's, I think we have him projected in the top 10. But
I think we do.
I think we do too. Yeah.
it's a rough thing, it's difficult.
No,
It's
we
something
actually
that I
we
don't
had him
really
at
wanna-
we had him at 12.
Okay.
I
So
think we put him at
we
at
as a
12.
QB. We have him as a QB1.
Yeah, I mean, but I think we put him at 12. I think we put him that low to almost be a QB2 because of that reasoning of him not having anyone to throw to, like besides besides 3 people. And then you have Miles Sanders that he can throw screens off to, but I think mainly he'll be handing the ball off to him.
Agreed.
Again, if he is healthy.
Yeah, again, if he is healthy, like that's like going to be the biggest question about Carson Wentz is that he had a concussion last year. He's not likely to get injured again, but it's a thought. What if he does get injured again?
People
Yeah,
are scared to pick him
a
up.
little, it's a little scary to pick him up because you don't really know what's going to happen within the year. Like he could get another concussion within the 4th game. Now I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but if it does, what do you do then? I just put all my money on Wentz, and now you're going to be scrambling around trying to find out another QB to pick up so that you're able to have someone in Wentz's position get those points that you need. But in reality, I don't think there's anyone on the waiver wire at that point.
Yeah, it depends on your strategy, but like I'd rather go get Tom Brady in the 10th or Matt Stafford in the 10th round.
Exactly, like
just to avoid it.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
to
it's just
avoid it.
you got to think about all the things that's happened, and if you decide to put your money on Wentz, you got to think about the risks.
Agreed.
I agree.
All right, who we got next? Cowboys?
The Giants.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, the Giants.
Oh,
Sorry.
damn. Jeez.
All right. No yeehaw, Bobby. No
Dang.
yeehaw.
That's right.
I guess I could start off this with my question to the fans that we have. When we were doing our consensuses and our drafts, I know that me and Bobby were saying that we would have easily took Christian McCaffrey first. And I think Patrick was the one that came in and said, no, I think I want to take a Barkley. So my question to everyone is that if you had the 1st round pick, would you go Barkley or would you go someone just completely different?
I would actually lean more Zeke than Barkley.
Oh,
Which is
Upset.
fair. Hey, listen, that's totally fair to say. I'm not even gonna lie, it's fine. I just remember us having an argument at that point to where me and Bobby were saying CMC first and you were saying Barkley.
No,
So that's why
I mean,
that's
I
why
think,
I kind of want to put it out there is that, like, you know, if you had the first round pick, would you be going for Barkley or would you be going for a Christian McCaffrey?
well, I mean, on our consensus, I say Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, realistically, you could take either three and you're going to be happy. Um, the difference here, though, is that Barkley is more of a boom guy. You know, Barkley's going to come out and win you a week by a lot. He can go and get 2 touchdowns. He could take any rush to the house, any screen pass to the house. So that's what you get with Barkley. But with a Zeke, I feel you get a little more consistency, you know, to where you're going to get, you know, say 17, 20 points a week or something like that, or 15 or 16 a week. You already know what that is going to be. But so with Saquon, it's like you have the injury risk here. And that's something that I don't want to take a chance with my first pick. You know, if Saquon's healthy, he's going to be great, and you're going to
Yeah.
love it, and it's going to be amazing. But you also are going to you might have to count for having weeks without him. Last year, he missed about 3-4 weeks.
Because of that unfortunate injury, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he missed 3 games last year.
Exactly. So I mean, with Saquon, it's tough, and the offense is not good. You know,
that's
this
what
offense
I
is
was
a little
gonna.
better this year, but it's not it's you don't look at it and be like, oh man, they're going to score some points.
Well, see, that's going to be the problem for. I guess we can go into this for Daniel Jones this year as well. Like if they didn't improve their O line, which they kind of did with. I mean, would they pick up three rookies for their offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, they took the best tackle in the draft with Andrew Thomas, which I like that a lot. That improves it and helps Saquon, and it helps Daniel Jones a lot. You know, so well, I mean, I think they'll be good. I think their offensive line is going to be a lot better. Do I think this team's going to be great? No, their defense is garbage. So it's kind of like you have a little bit of more risk with Saquon than you do with Zeke or Christian McCaffrey. But if you're at the 3 slot, I don't see a choice. I think you have to take Saquon if he's there.
Yeah,
At the 3.
I know for our draft, I know it was me and I took CMC, and then Bobby took Barkley, and then I think Bill took
Zeke.
Bill took Zeke.
Zeke.
So
Yeah, Zeke was
right
hurt.
there he was already gone. But I 100% agree with you. If you're doing a draft and Barkley is at that 3rd spot and he hasn't been taken yet, I mean, I think if you don't take him, you're messing up.
Agreed. I agree. Let's get into this. Let's get into this wide receiver core.
I was
What
literally
about
just about to
receivers?
bring that up. That's exactly what I'm gonna say, dude. I don't really see a lot of weapons personally for Daniel Jones this year.
He's got Evan Ingram, but he's always hurt too.
Yeah, but
This
that's
team
about
is.
it. I mean, you have the new guy. You have the new guy, Darius Slayton, rookie, who they're gonna have
second
to
year.
second year. I apologize, second year. I mean, who they're gonna have to use, but it's just that's about it. That's literally all they really have.
You do have Golden Tate there as well. I mean, he's
He's
a
great.
veteran,
Yeah.
PPR.
and he's,
You're-
and
PPR,
right.
he will be fantastic.
he will get you some touchdowns. He'll get you some touchdowns if you need them.
I mean, he's going to be Golden Tate's going to be great for full point PPR. I mean, this guy's probably going to get like 7-8 catches a week, and that's 8 points off rip. Even if he has 50 yards. But with that aspect, I like Golden Tate in a full PPR. In half PPR, I like Golden Tate towards the end because he's free. That's the only good thing about these wide receivers on this team is most of them are all free, to where you're only getting upside from there. Like maybe one of these guys finishes as a wide receiver 2 or a high end 3, and you took him as the wide receiver 60 off the board. To where you're getting good value on that return, and you're not really spending anything on the pick.
No, his ADP. I mean, you could pick him up in the 12th round. So I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, I mean, who else are you gonna take? I mean, he is a great person to have in any kind of situation at all. He's gonna
And he's
get you
really
points.
safe.
He is.
He's very safe.
Golden Tate only did play 11 games last year.
Yeah, but he was suspended for 4. But
Okay.
I'm talking about producing. You knew you weren't playing Golden Tate in those weeks. But like producing wise, Golden Tate's going to get you. He's going to get you points. All he has to do is catch the ball, and that's his specialty. He's going to be running in the slot, and he's going to be catching these little dunk and dive Danny Dimes passes, and that's where he's going to make his heyday. I'm not saying you're going to be he's not your every week starter, but you get into your bye week situation, you need a flex. Golden Tate's not going to hurt you.
No, that I agree with. That I agree.
Last year, he was able to put up 49 receptions and get six touchdowns last year. So, I mean, just with that alone, that's a great number to have. In case
you give him those extra 4 games. I mean, what was his target count?
85 targets. So,
that'll come up a little bit.
It has to.
Our other guy that we have here for the Giants to wrap the Giants up is Evan Ingram, the hurt tight end that everybody loves. I like him a lot, especially since you're getting a little discount on him. He's going 71st pick off the board. He's going pick 6 or round 6, pick 12. I like that a lot. I mean, you get good value there, but you're going to have to play that game of injury. It's going to be more of he's almost like Jordan Reed, where Jordan Reed has that top 3 upside, but he's always hurt. When he's on the field, he's great. When he's not on the field, you're probably losing.
I mean, the one thing you can say about Ingram is he is reliable when he actually is in the game.
Yeah, when he's on the field, he's fantastic, and he's gonna be great. But the issue is he's got risk built into him.
Yeah,
Now the other tight ends around him is like a Hunter Henry that's going 5 picks above, and then Tyler Higbee going 7 picks below. So, I mean, out of those 2 guys, I'd rather have Evan Ingram.
I agree. I would too.
I mean, I understand what you guys are saying about the Evan Ingram injury because I'm looking here and he did only play 8 games last year. 467 yards for receiving and 3 TDs. Like you guys said, I believe that because I've picked up Evan Ingram before for our league, and I believe that when he is healthy, he does produce those numbers. But it's like you said, it's a risk factor. Especially if he is going to get hurt and then he doesn't meet those numbers that you want.
Agreed. I mean, I would
think with him is being healthy. The big thing with him again is being healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much if I don't get George Kittle or Travis Kelce in the draft, I kind of punt it, to get a Gesicki, and let's see Gesicki's pick. Mike Gesicki goes in the 10th round. Do I think Evan Ingram and Gesicki are going to be far and away from each other? No. Can they be? Yes.
I mean, on our consensus, to be fair, we did put Gesicki at 7 and Ingram at 8.
Okay. I mean, I like the value of Gesicki a lot more, and I think Gesicki can produce more. He has a little more upside to me because he doesn't have this injury history. With Evan Ingram, we stat Evan Ingram out to at least miss 2 games.
At least. I mean, I would push it to even 3, to be honest.
He's going to miss 2 to 3 games.
He only played 8 games last year.
Yeah. I mean, he missed half the season last year.
I mean, if you have a productive season like in 2017 he had, where he played 15 games, he gave you 6 touchdowns. But last year, again, he only played 8 games. He had 3 touchdowns in 8 games. Not terrible, but if you get a full season out of him, he's going to give you double his touchdowns, more than likely.
Yeah, he has that upside to do it.
That's the whole thing with him.
If he gets double-digit touchdowns, he's going to be, tight end 3 or 2. But, all right, I think that's it for the Giants. We're going to move on to them boys. All right, so the first person I want to talk about is going to be Dak Prescott because he's going to be short and quick. Dak Prescott's going to be great. Dak Prescott has the weapons, he has the tools, and his offensive line is solid. That's all you have to say.
So going on top of what you said about Dak Prescott, he's definitely going to be showing out this year to show the Cowboys staffing that he's worth the money.
I agree. They give him all the tools. His whole team's locked up virtually on offense except for himself.
Jerry, give this man his money. He's worth it, man. Come on. He's under the franchise tag. He has something to prove this year. You can't doubt that.
I agree. I just think that they were having issues with getting a deal done because Dak wants a lot of money and they're trying to play it out. You're in a spot. They just got their new head coach, Mike McCarthy. So we'll see. I think the tag's going to help Dak a little bit because they're going to get this idea, and as long as he comes out and shows them, hey, I'm the guy, it's going to be fine, and he's going to get paid, and then it's going to be chit chat boom. The Cowboys have a great offense.
I mean, I guess the one question I have about Prescott, and then we'll end it. Or I guess like the one question I have is, why didn't they give him that deal? I'm looking at his stats now. He almost had 5,000 passing yards. Granted, he did have 11 interceptions, but he also threw 30 touchdowns.
I think they didn't give him the deal because they don't know how the corona is going to affect the salary cap next year.
Oh yeah. See, that's something new this year too that we're looking at, and it's definitely weird for us because we don't know how this corona is going to affect everything. I mean, you already have, baseball already canceling games because people have them. We don't know what's going to happen with football.
Exactly. So I think it was more worried about a salary cap, and he's going to take a big chunk of their cap. When you have to pay your quarterback, your team kind of goes in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay them a lot of money to stay in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But now I guess we can transition into the weapons here. So Cowboys draft CeeDee Lamb. They stole him from the Eagles, and that's exactly why they picked him. And I think that might be one of the only reasons why they picked him.
I mean, he has a nose for the end zone, so
he does. He's good, great player. But the Cowboys didn't need a receiver. They took him because when they needed a tight end, the Eagles took Dallas Goedert from them. So this was payback. And I'll tell you what, this stings a lot more than Dallas Goedert.
Oh my God, yeah. Because can you imagine? Could you imagine if the Eagles got CeeDee Lamb, they'll actually have more people to throw to.
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't have Jalen Reagor, but they'd have a perennial, top tier.
I feel like they would have someone to, and I feel like they would just have someone to be that that Amari Cooper, like that Amari Cooper energy. You know what I mean?
I agree. So we can go into Amari Cooper here. This is tough because not everybody gets to eat at this table with the Cowboys. There's going to be some. I think the guys who are going to eat is obviously Zeke always eats.
Always.
But I think Amari Cooper's going to get his, and I think Michael Gallup's going to get his, and then CeeDee Lamb's going to get some, but he's not going to be at the level of Amari Cooper sent out a tweet thinking that, all the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers can get 1,000 yards. I mean, is it possible? Yes. Do I see it happening? No. I see a Michael Gallup or a CeeDee Lamb being, at that 700, 600-yard mark.
And I feel like that's more going to be CeeDee Lamb than anybody. I don't think it's going to be Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper. I think they're going to be the ones mainly getting the ball. I just think that because of the fact that CeeDee Lamb is just coming in.
Yeah, he's a rookie. So, I mean, I think Amari Cooper's the great wide receiver to own here. But I also don't hate Michael Gallup on the count of Michael Gallup is going so late in drafts, and you're getting a guy. I mean, he had 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah, and I guess we can do another question for everybody is everyone's opinion on who's gonna get the ball more, whether it be Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, or CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more between Gallup and Cooper, but
I think
that's fine. I'm just saying. I'm asking everyone else because. You never know. Someone might really, be loving on CeeDee Lamb and, he breaks out and becomes, wide receiver 1. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, hypothetically.
CeeDee Lamb, he's a great receiver, CeeDee Lamb. He's going to be a great receiver, but they just have way too many other options in order to throw it to him and him alone. Like, you cannot ignore Amari Cooper there. He's going to be their number 1.
I definitely agree with you, and it's just going to be interesting to see what the new coach brings in too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like Amari Cooper a lot, but the thing is, Amari Cooper has this disappearing act that happens here and there. It's not nearly as bad as it was when he was with the Raiders, but it still does happen here where he's just not part of the game plan that day. So with Michael Gallup. Let's see. I gotta find him. I can't find him. Michael Gallup is somebody I like a lot too because he's going later in your drafts to where
Michael Gallup is going in the 7th round, so
seventh round.
he is definitely a decent pickup at that point in your draft because you know he's going to be their number 2 wide receiver, and his stats aren't all that bad either. On top of that, so
No,
he might be a good steal.
he's got a good floor. I mean, he's got a good build. You know, he catches touchdowns. He gets 1,000 yards. He's going to probably be around that 70 catch range, maybe 60. But that's a good base for a 7th round wide receiver.
You're right on
That's
it.
going to be a wide receiver 3 for you. Yeah.
And in 2019, he really had a breakout because compared to 2018, 2019 was his year, so he made it known that he wants to be that wide receiver number 2, possibly wide receiver number 1. Who knows?
I agree.
I mean, I definitely think they're going to be competing for. I think that Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup are going to be competing for that number 1 spot.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's actually going to be more of like 1A, 1B kind of thing over there.
Hey, it might even be that. Like they might try to do something like the Eagles, where they have 2 main tight ends. They might decide to make Amari Cooper, Mike Gallup the 2 main wide receivers.
Well, I think that's already what it is. I think you're only going to see CeeDee Lamb in there with 3 wide receiver sets.
Yeah, I mean they could also switch up the playbook too to where it's more focused on them too.
I am interested in knowing if they're going to kind of do what the Rams did when they had Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. I mean, that's very interesting to me. Do you move Amari Cooper into the slot and you see, because Amari Cooper's not great against press coverage, so you're putting Amari Cooper in a better position to be this guy catching slants, going against the lower tiered corner. And it's like at that point, does he kind of get force fed the ball a little bit? Because he could take a slant to the house any day of the week.
He can. He is definitely big enough and he is fast enough. But to put in the actual slot, I would put CeeDee Lamb in the slot if you're asking my
I don't
opinion
think
on
so.
that.
I think you put CeeDee Lamb outside. You have Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb outside, and then Amari Cooper running in the middle. And you're drawing a lot. I mean, that's a good offense.
I mean, if you think about it, if they do run something like that, they're going to be looking at Amari Cooper because they're going to expect, like you said, Pat, Amari Cooper to run a slant and to actually take the ball. And they might, focus more of the coverage on Amari Cooper, but then that will leave open Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb.
Exactly. I think I think it's just going to be, I'm going to chalk it up to just going to be a good offense. I do think they should run 3 wide receiver sets because I don't think their tight end's going to be really worth much. Blake Jarwin I just don't see where he fits into this whole thing of getting, people who are projecting him with 50 catches. I don't see that.
I don't see that either, especially with them losing Doyle.
Jason Witt.
That's what I meant.
So, I mean, I think that kind of covers the Cowboys.
That was a
No,
lot.
I think that's about it. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Blake Jarwin can fall into that position. Now, is he someone that you want to look at for? I would kind of look at him as like a tight end too, if you need someone to cover a bye week or something like that.
Yeah, that's about it, and that's virtually based off a matchup. I don't see a world where he shines.
No, especially with what they have, there's no way.
Exactly.
Do
Let's move on.
the Cowboys have the most stacked offense? I just want to get you guys' overall thoughts on that. Do they have the best offense in the league?
I think so.
I think they do too.
Number 1 or number 2?
No, I don't know.
It has to be up there.
because You also have the Saints, man. The Saints
Well, see-
have a good offense. The Falcons have a good
That's why
offense.
I said I would say they're up there in the top 5.
I think they're the deepest offense.
They have a lot of weapons. That's what I love about this whole team as one is that they have a lot of weapons to go to. So
I
it's gonna
think
be
this
fun.
game's
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch them.
Up with points.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to be fun to watch them.
Let's go on to the Washington football team. We don't know who the quarterback is because Alex Smith is supposedly healthy, which is amazing in the regard that he almost died like 3 times with that leg. He almost lost his leg. I mean, thank God he's coming back. I mean, I would be surprised if he's playing football, but having him in that locker room with Dwayne Haskins is going to be something very, very special. That, I mean, you already saw what Alex Smith did in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
Yeah.
what you get in Alex Smith with the Dwayne Haskins, he gets dialed in a little more, becomes a little more
Yeah, because
accurate.
because like you even said, even if Alex Smith doesn't play and he's just kind of there, what do you think's going to be happening between him and Dwayne Haskins? Alex Smith isn't going to be ignoring him. He's going to be going up to him, going, "Hey, I did things like this. Hey, I see you doing this. Why don't you try it like this?" Alex Smith is going to be that Dwayne Haskins coach.
Yes, he's going to be his vet. And I think that's something that's going to help Dwayne Haskins and this football team a lot. Dwayne Haskins, I don't really like him this year. Fantasy-wise, you might be able to get a start or two out of him. But the guy, there's really only one option I like here, and his name's Terry McLaurin, who's got a great build, and he's a great route runner. He's this guy that's going to catch the ball for them. He's virtually their receiver core for that team. I mean, you saw him last year, and he was playing good football as a rookie. He was playing great football. So we just got to – I mean, I like him a lot. He's going fairly late.
He can only go up. He's projected to be taken in the 6th round, which is pretty high up there. But
Okay. Would you rather have A.J. Green or Terry McLaurin?
honestly, Terry McLaurin.
Okay. Michael Gallup or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin, because he really is their only threat on a wide receiver option for that team. He's gonna
Juju
get-
Smith or Terry McLaurin?
Why are you concentrating on me for? Like, I feel attacked.
It's not
right now.
just you. Joey can answer too.
Juju. Juju has more experience,
Oh,
and
Juju 100%.
I just see
100%.
I just see
Yeah.
Juju being better than Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
'Cause,
What do you
again,
think
I-
Juju's going to do?
The reason I'm picking Juju is because I feel like he is more of he has more his team has more confidence in him to where he's gonna be catching the ball, making the plays. I feel like Juju just has more of a presence on the Steelers offense than
I agree. I was just about to make a bet, but I don't think I would take Terry McLaurin over Juju. So
I
I,
wouldn't.
do
because
not.
I
see
picked
this.
up Juju because I think I grabbed Juju 4th. So I definitely
Yeah,
like
but
Juju
that's
a lot more.
dynasty, a little different ranking.
I mean, the other thing
mean-
to talk about too with the Washington football team is their running back situation.
I
AP.
agree. I don't know who it is.
AP. I mean,
They
I
have
could've-
Antonio Gibson there, who's been doing. He's been working out with the running backs and the wide receivers. If I had to pick my guy, I'd probably pick Antonio Gibson. But I mean that's kind of the thing that I want to stay away from because I don't want to sit here and. I mean, you're not burning a pick on it after Darius Geis got released,
Yeah.
but it's just tough. There's 5 of them there. You got,
I mean, to be honest with you, they might even, and this is gonna sound weird to say, but they might even try to see which one works better between
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson, Antonio Gibson, and Peyton Barber.
and then Bryce Love
and JD
Yeah.
McKissick.
Yeah,
and JD
exactly.
McKissick. So I mean,
they might just
that's
try
something
all
I'm
of them
staying
out.
out of. I'm staying out of it. If I took one, I would take Antonio Gibson.
Yeah,
Who would
I
you
mean,
guys take?
I wouldn't take any of them, honestly.
I
To be
don't
honest
know if
with
I
you,
would take any of them. I would be afraid to take Adrian Peterson because I know
so
about his
questionable.
injuries.
Yeah, but he's free.
Yeah, but he's free, but still, I don't.
You need a guy that's going to start.
Yeah, but with
Who do
you
you
not
take?
knowing who they're even starting as QB,
Jordan Haskins more than likely.
it's too much of risk, especially now. Now, if you're able to
How
take
is it
him
risky
in, like,
though? It's not
listen,
risky.
if you're
because
able to
he's
take
free.
him, if you're able to take him way down the line, then of
He
course
is.
take him. Okay, then that's fine, take him. But no one here is something that you're looking at in the first like 5 picks, 6 picks.
Joey, I think half of them are undrafted.
for them
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
are undrafted, yeah. I mean, if I had to take one, just based off of numbers and just based off what I think, I would take AP because he's been in the league for so long, and even at this age, he's still doing pretty well for himself. I mean, 898 yards last year, 5 touchdowns is kind of iffy, but he does play 15 games last year. So, I mean, for them, that's still a decent presence to have for running back, which they do not have this year at all.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to kind of see what they do with their running back situation. So I guess for me, I mean, I don't know who I would pick, Pat. I really don't. I would.
Well, I'm saying you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, I would probably go with Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Antonio
go with AP.
Gibson. I'll
I
read you
wouldn't-
their ADPs real quick.
I mean, the whole reason
Adrian
I'm saying
Peterson is round 13, pick 8. Antonio Gibson's round 13, pick 9. So they don't cost you anything.
no, they don't. But I'm just saying, like I said before, I wouldn't pick Peterson just because I've seen it before. I've picked Peterson, he gets hurt, and then he's out for who knows how long. You know.
Yeah, but he hasn't been hurt in a while.
No, I'm looking at his stats now. Recently, he hasn't been hurt. 2016, 2017, he missed games probably because of injuries. But it also depends on if Washington's going to utilize him more. And it's also going to depend on what Washington decides to do with Adrian Peterson.
I mean, we kind of seen it for the last 2 years. I mean, 250 touches, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns in 2018. 2019, 211 touches, 900 yards, and 5 scores. I mean, you're getting a guy who's gonna help you out. You know, he's gonna be this guy that you need a flex spot. You start him.
He's not going to necessarily score for you, but he will give you some yards if you do need.
He's gonna
If
he'll.
you do need, if
I
you do
think
need
he's a
at
guy
least
that can
10
go.
points.
He can go out there and get you 10. Yeah,
Exactly. If you need 10 points, then he's pretty solid for that.
I agree. Other than that, I don't really have anything for the Washington football team.
No, I mean, like,
I mean,
with all the
I mean,
allegations they have going against them and everything else, it's
They're in a difficult spot.
they're in a tough spot right now, a very tough spot.
But how can you not bring up maybe one of the best tight ends in the game that they have? Jeremy, the best last name in the NFL, Sprinkle. I mean, come on. Can we not bring this man up? Jeremy
Oh, you
Sprinkle.
like sprinkles, huh?
I love sprinkles, bro. If this, like, you can name a dessert after this man. So, I mean, he's got to be up there.
I mean,
All right.
I'm looking at his stats right now. It doesn't really seem like they use tight ends that much. The man had 40 targets for 26 receptions last year, 241 yards with touchdown. And
Yeah.
and then
no, I mean,
and then rushing wise last year he had a fumble.
I mean, all kidding aside, yeah, they don't have anything for a tight end. This football team is in a major reworking process right now. Obviously,
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like the Washington football team is in rework mode right now, especially for this season. I feel like they're gonna be in rework mode, especially with all the news against them right now. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes on.
They're in trouble. But all right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for checking us out, giving us a listen. Like and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Is there anything else I'm missing, boys?
I don't think so. All I gotta say is I appreciate everyone listening and look forward to our next episode.
Yes, sir.